All right, what's up? What is up, gamers, glitch hunters, and speedrun enthusiasts? I'm zmoneytrain, and this is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Really one of the people responsible for me being here today is the guy behind me. After I saw his AGDQ run for Fallen Order, I knew I wanted to get involved with the community and this series of games, so I'm going to let him introduce himself and we'll get going here.
Thank you, Z-Money. My name is Pnash, and as Z-Money mentioned, I showcased Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order at AGDQ 2021. Now we've come full circle, and I'm doing commentary for him today. I've been speedrunning since Fallen Order came out, and I'm a huge fan of the series. In 2021, I dedicated my run to my grandmother, who was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer in 2020. I'm happy to say that she's here watching today, so this one is for you, Grandma. I love you. With that being said, I'll hand it back over to Z-Money so we can get this started.
Thanks, Pnash. All right, so we can just jump right in here, actually. Time will start when I overwrite the file. All right, so 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So we're playing the restricted category on console. The main tech used in the game is called pause buffer, and there's pause buffer clips and pause buffer launches, and the restricted category just bans the pause buffer launch glitch. But due to recent patches for console, the game doesn't lag as much when we pause in the game. So normally we'd be able to pause and then clip through the railings on this starting section and then get our sprint speed back. But the game's a little more optimized, which is for the better, to be honest, but we no longer can lag and clip through that. So we'll do the glitchless strat of getting pushed by these NPCs. But this is 5 years after the first game, and we're kind of just fighting against the Empire still and getting info from different military operations and stuff, so that's kind of why he's handcuffed, but we're faking getting captured, and our buddies are helping us out on this mission. But kind of a slow start to the run, but once we get past the initial combat and tutorial stuff, it'll start ramping up pretty quickly on the skips and glitches we use. There's the Senator. We're going to try to get info from him. But as we go up this elevator, we'll probably have some time for a few donations if you have them ready, James.
Oh, you would believe that I do. Everything is coming out in force for you already, Z-Money, such as $100 from Brenda Bauer Grandy saying, "Way to go, Z-Money Train and Pnash. Thank you for showing us all the skips, tricks, and tips. Also, Doctors Without Borders is a great cause. Good luck on setting the world record or obtaining a personal best. One thing I do want to remind people is that when you donate, make sure you're putting that donation towards an incentive like the Star Wars Jedi Survivor Glitch Exhibition. We need to meet that by the end of this run. It's a $5,000 goal, and we are at $3,222 raised out of that. So keep those donations coming. Do I got time for one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
We also have $10 from Kirby T that says, "I'm 7 years old and I love Star Wars. I would love to see more of it on Games Done Quick. Good luck to all the runners." Thank you so much, Kirby T. And we love Star Wars too.
Amazing.
Here.
Probably do one more.
Alrighty. We have $50 from Parker saying, "Best of luck, Z-Money. Excited to see you showcase how broken this game is."
Hey.
Thank you so much for that generosity, Parker. And looking at that $50, that gives me an idea, chat. $50 is a lot, so we're not necessarily accepting you to match that generosity. If you can't, if you can just donate $5, maybe at the 5-minute mark, we can start a $5 donation train to try and hit that glitch exhibition incentive. That would be pretty cool. So let's see it, $5 at 5 minutes. Think we can do that, chat?
We can get there.
You got some pretty wild glitches to show off.
All right.
You kind of want to start talking about the fall timer here as we head toward our first glitch after this tutorial combat. A little bit, touch on that.
Yeah. So if you play this game casually, you will have remembered that there's a kind of a fall timer. If you fall for a certain amount of time, it will void you out and put you back where it thinks you should be. Kind of helped with development, I'm sure, and not having to backtrack on certain platforming sections. We got through that pretty quick.
That was nice.
There we go. We void out as this cutscene plays out. But during glitch hunting, we found ways to get through that, avoid the fall timer. And we'll show that off here in a little bit. But there's a little climbing section we can skip through by some nifty jumps.
So as you see the screen fade to black, there is where the fall timer starts to kick in. Z-Money just used some geometry there to just hit the bare edge of the fall timer on that circular cylindrical thing he landed on. So we can skip that and make our way toward the first and most difficult skip of the game. I cannot tell you how hard this is. Sorry, Z-Money.
I know.
But if you take a look up here, you can see we're going to skip a very large section of the game here. There is an invisible platform that we need to go around. We want to land up there, and we're essentially just going to jump into a cutscene trigger where we reconvene with Bode, who we were walking with in the very beginning of the game. We're using a couple features here built into the game, accessibility features, one of them being a slow-mo mode that Z-Money is able to toggle on and off with a keybind. The other one being that accessibility motion sickness dot that you can see in the center. We're going to use that for quite a few lineups here. But this glitch was something that was actually found pretty early on in the days of the run. But at first, we mainly just used it as like a skip to get to the top of this grate here. We didn't know that you can actually go all the way up until a runner came and showed us, and we were, obviously mind blown. But it doesn't, we haven't really found a use for it in too many places, but it's this unique ledge climb in this very specific spot.
Try it one more time.
But yeah, if we don't get it here, we might take the long way around. But it's, as I said, it's definitely the most difficult skip here in the run. And
It's so close.
so we're gonna go around. That's okay.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, it's like about a minute and a half or so.
Yeah.
From just going around and then up on top, but there'll be plenty of other little mini collision launches we can do. I know you're thinking like, oh, you said launches were banned and restricted. No, pause buffer launches are banned and restricted. And if you want to see how crazy far you can launch with pause buffer launches, make sure you donate for that incentive. We'll probably have time for one donation as we make our way around this building.
That sounds absolutely amazing, because as we have hit that 5-minute mark already, we are already getting some massive amounts with that donation train. We have $50 from No Comment that says anonymous.
Oh no. I'm gonna have to do this again.
Oh no!
It's fine. Side effect of skipping the climbing section is the checkpoints don't update, so you have to do this little section again. We can also pause buffer to avoid that fall timer, so that's one benefit of the console version.
It's significantly easier to lag through things like, pretty much anything on PC, because you can just press F11. But on console, we have to do some pause menu shenanigans, which, referred to as the pause buffer clip, or PBC for short. Something they carried over from the first game. Same methodology. This time, sometimes on console, you have to tab back and forth over a little bit more, since, as Z-Money mentioned.
I'll try it one more time.
Yeah, worth a shot. It's really cool to get this, but yeah, as you can see, it skips quite a bit. But yeah, the geometry, the invisible wall up there, the sheer height of the jump, it's really perfection. And this man makes it look easy. I've seen him do it so many times, and it just boggles my mind. Every single thing in this run is way harder than the run that I did at GDQ in 2021 for the first game. And even that run it's changed so much since then. But this run, as easy as it may look and straightforward, and as easy as Z-Money makes it look, is actually incredibly difficult.
Okay. We're back on track.
As you're moving here, do I have time to jump in with one quick, really special donation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go for it.
We have $75 from Karen Renaggio saying, good luck with the run, Pnash and Z-Money, from your mom, dad, and grandma, and Aunt Marie. Thank you so much for that $75.
All right.
All right, we're zooming. This is a little bit of our movement tech here, kind of a little shuffle. Yeah, I think Z-Money might have mentioned it earlier, but we're block dodge canceling here to move just what is it, like 30% faster or something than running.
Yeah, it ends up being about 10% faster than sprinting.
10.
So
Okay.
we'll try to do as much as we can if my rhythm's good enough on the inputs.
Yeah, the rhythm is a little weird.
There you can hold block as you come out of zip lines, and you kind of keep your momentum for a little bit of time.
In addition to that, lightsaber swing when falling from certain heights, Cal will do a rolling animation, which we want to avoid. So you'll see Z-Money swing his lightsaber every now and then, dropping off from certain distances. We're making our way here toward the first pause buffer clip of the game, where we're going to take a brief route out of bounds, which saves a ton of time. Again, we're clipping into this wall, exceedingly difficult, but Z-Money gets it first try, no problem. And slight out of bounds movement here, jump onto this platform below, and we are going to clip back inbounds again with, oh, there he is. That's the man. First try. And another door, we're kind of going backwards here. Normally you would go and get like some combat tutorials, get like another stance, and get like a big AoE slow, but we're skipping all of that. To get really the only thing we need is the Ascension cable, which we're gonna get our vengeance here on Tin Bin from the elevator incident at the beginning of the game.
Yes. The robot that threw us against the wall at the start. So we're gonna take care of him real quick.
Bode might help, or he might run into that wall and shoot at it. You know, you never know. Oh, yo!
There he goes.
Tag team.
Don't think he was a fan of you either.
Let's get rid of him real quick and grab onto the Ascension cable. And yeah, unfortunately in this category, we cannot skip this upgrade, but otherwise, we don't need any other skills or abilities. Z-Money has managed to find his way around all of that. So we're going to turn these platforms here and take a sort of casual route. You know, we can't do any crazy launching shenanigans or anything here. Basic grappling hook, tech. Z-Money's going to jump down onto this grate at the very edge of the fall timer again. And there's that top of that billboard, there's a slight area, extends further than it looks. So he jumps back onto there at the edge of the fall timer, and couple wall runs as we make our way toward the no fall timer, the pocket no fall timer glitch that we mentioned earlier, which Z-Money's gonna do another out of bounds clip. And we're gonna skip an old strats would use a pause buffer clip through the laser field here and ride the elevator down. But since then we found right here we're clipping to this wall, and Z-Money's gonna do that pocket no fall timer right here, which he is extremely good at. That's a huge round of applause right there. There's a loading trigger that we need to hit next to the elevator here. Otherwise, this next room will not load properly. So he jumped close to the elevator in order to activate that. Otherwise, this next room would just kind of turn black and he would just fall. But We're gonna make our way through this room pretty standard, and there's a door over there. We'll just clip through that and make our way toward another skip that is one of my favorite skips in the game, called the Nine Sisters skip, which is actually the name of a skip in the first game, because surprisingly she ended up in this game as well. But we're not going to see her. We're going to go through this door, and this window is extremely difficult to get through, but Z-Money's very good at it. Once again, we're going to avoid the fall timer there and make our way across this rooftop, which pretty much looks like it's supposed to be traversable, but it's technically out of bounds. And we'll jump back. There's nothing preventing us from jumping back in bounds onto this stairway. And once we ride this elevator down, we've traversed our way through most of Coruscant, and we're making our way back toward the landing pad. Not much really else going on for the most part here. A couple zip lines, a couple wall runs, and 2 more wall clips, and that's the end of Coruscant.
Would that mean it's a good time for a couple of quick donations and a quick update for you?
Sounds good, yeah.
Well, I just want to let everyone know we are less than $250 away for that glitch exhibition. Keep those donations coming. That $5 donation train has popped off, just like $10 from Yoda saying a double jump he can do. Sorry, can't quite do the Yoda voice. We also have $25 from Captain Snuggles saying Jedi speedrun, but I was going into Tosh Station to pick up some frames. We also have $100 from a strange donator from Lands Undoned, also known as Anonymous, saying, gotta see that glitch exhibition. Who wants to see that glitch exhibition? Let's keep those donations coming. Back to you, Z-Money.
Awesome, thanks, James. So we just clipped through a couple walls, and that actually avoids a few waves of this final encounter. And we just have to make our way back to the ship here. We're gonna just do some force pushes on these guys. Normally, our 2 dudes that were helping us in the mission, Bravo and Bode, would be helping us with this encounter, but
Let's sit this one out.
we skipped over their triggers and the cutscene, so they're not gonna really do anything until we finish the fight.
By do anything, he means they're just going to stand there, and that's the end of the level.
I missed him.
Here they come.
Bo just kind of materializes in front of you. All right, that's Coruscant. And that's almost like half of the run at this point, which is pretty crazy. I'm going to switch to quality mode because the world record holder found that quality mode lets you skip cutscenes faster, and it loads in faster, which it's weird. I don't know. Yeah, this is the first and only time you're going to see the Mantis ship from the first game. It's kind of just familiarizing yourself with how the ship works and what's on it, but we found a way around using the ship to get to the final planet, and we'll get into that as we get closer to the skip for it. But yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. The Mantis ship here.
Let's head up to the cockpit.
Quality of life from the first game, we can actually jog in the ship, which is awesome.
I always forget.
All right. I'm gonna do a quick quit out as we get to the beginning of this planet, just to kind of reset Cal's state. There's a bug that can happen if you go through multiple loading zones when we fast travel that can cause it to bug out. We want to avoid that, so I'm just gonna do our NFT tech here, and then take a rest at this spot, and we'll do a quick quit out. So we can do 1 donation as we load back in. All right. We kind of grazed over it before, but you may have noticed that pop up when I started the boss fight. So this is what happens if you skip a checkpoint that the game thinks you shouldn't have skipped. So if we were to choose load, we'd go all the way back to that boss fight we just did. So we're going to proceed anyway. It's probably the first time I've ever seen that in a game, which is pretty wild. This is one of the new techs. It's called Money Clip. because I found it. Not my choice, but that's what the community decided to call it.
Very new, yeah, very new. It's crazy. We're still finding things. Even since we started practicing for this within the past few months, we found new tech. Like I said, we're coming up here on a way that we previously needed a skill to do, but something called the money push now, where we're going to use a unique push animation that happens after a lightsaber swing in this same spot as we used to use the skill to do it, but we found this also works where Z-Money can swing his lightsaber while running, and then that unique push animation right there can allow us to get a launch up to that platform, which is normally inaccessible from that angle. Very nice.
We're going to do that a couple more times for a couple other skips. Hopefully get them all. But the final one is probably the most difficult one, so we'll see if we can get it.
Think I can squeeze in a quick donation or so here?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Well, we are getting really, really close to that Star Wars Glitch Exhibition incentive. We are almost $150 away from that, and that $5 donation train is pushing it so close to that, such as these $25 from Ski Bum Games saying, "Ooh. So excited to see my buddies. These amazing guys are my inspiration. All the love and the hugest of hugs to Pnash and zmoneytrain. BD1 is the best droid." And if you at home want to keep helping out on that donation train, you can donate through the new Twitch extension. It may be desktop only for now, but if you are at home where your subscription button used to be, there's now the Donate to Charity button. You can click on that Donate to Charity button, and if you have that Twitch extension enabled, you can then apply your donation to incentives like the Star Wars Jedi Survivor Glitch Exhibition within 15 minutes after your donation. So keep those donations coming, everyone. We want to see more Star Wars.
Okay, this is crazy.
This is exceedingly difficult. It's looking good here. He's got to land in very, very specific locations to reset his jump and get the lightsaber swing with the pushes. This is a very far gap, and again, this is a very new skip that Z-Money just found recently, and that is incredible. Yeah, definite round of applause for that. We're gonna meditate here because this meditation circle in particular is very important. We will explain that later, but we need to come back there. And Z-Money's gonna do, this is not a pause buffer clip. It's just a, when you dodge, block, and then jump into certain walls. A lot of these walls on Kobo work. We just were able to, okay, interesting. We're able to clip into rocks and things very easily, which is crazy because we didn't find this until now, but that's how it is with speed running. But
that's all we were trying to skip.
We were trying to skip that, but it's okay.
Skip that scene, so it's not too big of a deal. If you would have remembered playing this game casually, you would remember that the center area of Kobo is one of the last places you went to before you beat the game, and so naturally, speedrunners, that was the first place we checked after beating the game. We were looking there to try to get into this mountain in the middle, and we found a way, and that basically became the base framework of this speed run for any percent. So we can clip in, we can unlock the final planet, and it just became, how do we get to the final planet? So gonna make our way to that center area.
This money clip really unlocked a lot of potential. We had some other much more difficult ways of getting around this area to get to the alignment tower, but the money clip made things significantly easier.
We used to deload the mountain, and then pause buffer through and a loading trigger so we could just walk into the mountain. But now we can just do our mini clip tech.
So yeah, this tower, as you said, is inside this mountain. We're able to money clip inside, and then he's actually going to do something very impressive here. I mean, we're under, we're still able to, we don't need no fault timer glitch there. It's just the edge of the fault timer, we're good. But zmoney's going to combine the no fault timer glitch here with a money clip, which is just mind-boggling. The inputs are crazy. But we need to go down there, and obviously it's too far. We will void out. So
I can just pause buffer. Ooh.
this door is it's going to take us to the console that will unlock all of the planets when we interact with it.
No. You can make your way through the rings as well, but it's a little bit difficult. Oh, we got it.
Oh, nice. So since we're coming here so early, there's a placeholder 20-second time loss cutscene. As Cal reaches for the control console, he begins to have a vision. He sees Centauri Cree at the console. She's preparing to activate the platform. She explains that first the lasers must be aligned with the observatories. Once alignment is complete, the array can be activated and the path to Tantalor revealed. The path to Tantalor will be revealed in 1-0.
And with that path to Tantalor revealed, we have also revealed the path to the Star Wars Jedi Survivor Glitch Exhibition!
Awesome.
And I want to say thank you to so many of the people that jumped in on that $5 donation train. We've got a lot of donations here with no comments, so I'm going to quickly say thank you to a $5 donation from Travis Tubbs, a $5 donation from K-Moo, a $5 donation from Anonymous, a $5 donation from Umbra Witcher, another $5 donation from Anonymous, a $5 donation from Fireball Kitty, and so many more that I just cannot keep going without taking away too much time from you, zmoney. Thank you so much, everyone, for meeting that glitch exhibition, and keep that train going for the bonus game incentive. We want to see Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. More games on the schedule means more GDQ, so keep up the hype!
Thanks, James. Yeah, so you saw we unlocked Tantalor, which is the final planet, but now we need to find a way to get to the final planet. So earlier routes, we were like, okay, well, we have to go through the quest of repairing the Mantis because it got damaged in that exit of Coruscant area. And then we found, okay, we don't need to repair the ship. We can actually clip into the ship, broken into the cliffside, and travel to a planet there. But then we eventually found a way to glitch a flashback sequence that takes place in the final planet. So that's where we're headed to now. We're just going through some general areas, not the quite intended way, but we're making our way to the forced alignment tower.
The only way forward is to cut through.
The only way forward is to cut through.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
We're gonna have one more of those money push skips here. There's a few ways you can get across this gap, but one method I found was using the money push tech, and I like it the most.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely more consistent because this jump across this gap is way more difficult than it looks.
Let's move.
It's basically frame perfect.
But yeah, once we get there,
Yeah.
oops.
Most of this is pretty standard
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, normally you'd have to go up and around and through this whole section, but this is the shortcut. You knock down this column, but we can just do...
We land right in this spot here. We can get a nice little launch up there. If you were to jump across, which I said it is possible, the terrain is just very wonky and it tends to eat your second jump input. So good to get it first try, you know, pretty much anything, or you could sit there for 5 minutes and just not be able to get it. So that is significantly easier to do it that way. zmoney is still finding ways to apply this money push tech. Like I said, within the past few days, weeks, you know. That spot right there is like a weak hold. He's like, hey, you know, this jump is awful. tried this and it worked, so I'm gonna do that.
There's this Kobo matter stuff that if you stay in it too long, it'll void you out and you have to redo certain puzzle sections. And this whole forest array area is designed so that you have to kind of corkscrew your way around through it to eventually progress to the tower. But we found a way to just kind of go right up the middle using our money clip tech.
There's also a way to do this with pause buffer clipping, a tiny bit of a different route, and definitely way more difficult than that. So we're obviously gonna go ahead and do that instead. And we need to take this ball and just use it to unlock the bridges on the other side of this door so we can get to the top of that tower where we're going to go into the aforementioned flashback sequence to actually trick the game into thinking we are on Tantalor, which is the final planet.
That can be pretty different each time with the RNG on the enemies. Sometimes the shield dudes or the melee guys will charge you immediately and it will be blocking the door as you're trying to clip through it, and it becomes a nightmare. But we got through that pretty quickly. And here comes the big trick of this route and why it lets us beat the game so fast.
This one's rough. So we're gonna open this door beforehand and do a little overcharge. And zmoney's gonna utilize a glitch called an airwalk here. It's something that carries over from the first game. It's a little bit more restrictive here. Again, we're gonna use the dot for a very specific lineup, and he's going to do a force push once he gets that precise lineup, and then he will hold block, do a force pull and an interact simultaneously with the med circle. BD1 hops off his back, indicating that he got it successfully, and the reason he needed to do that lineup is so that he can take this line. Otherwise, he will get stuck. And the thing about the airwalk and why it's called an airwalk is because if you let go of block at any time, you will start walking through the air toward the last thing you interacted with, which in that case is the meditation circle, and that's for a specific reason, because we're gonna use it to fast travel. But this pillar in particular is, we're still constantly working on it on console. You cannot pause the game, so we cannot PPC while airwalking, so you're basically stuck back dodging, jumping. You can do a lightsaber attack, you can push, but you can't really do much while airwalking, so zmoney is forced to kind of spam buttons until he can get past this pillar here. And at the bottom of this ramp in the doorway, there is the beginning of the, let's go. Did it.
Okay.
Flashback sequence that we were speaking of earlier. And I'll hand it over to zmoney here to elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, so we delayed the interaction with the meditation spot and we carried it into this flashback. And then once we time our cutscene skips in a certain way, we sit down at the meditation spot and we're able to fast travel. So this not only lets us skip over the entire flashback, but it lets us, it confuses the game when we fast travel during the flashback sequence, and the game's like, I don't know what to do, so the meditation spots for Tantalor are going to be loaded now. So all we need to do is finish the flashback sequence, and then the final meditation point before the final boss will be loaded out of bounds, and we just have to go to it.
And it just so happens to be right here at this meditation circle that we sat at earlier.
If we're getting towards the end, think I've got time to squeeze in another quick donation for you?
Yeah, go for it.
We have $100 from Matt G saying, hello from the Jedi team. And I just want to remind everyone that donations are 2 for 1 right now if you put them towards an incentive, because we have that unlock the bonus game incentive that you can put your donations towards with Donkey Kong Jungle Beat coming up. But we still have that milestone incentive coming up with Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. So if you put your money towards an incentive, it'll go towards that incentive and the milestone. So keep those donations coming.
Awesome. Yeah, so we were able to trigger that final cutscene, and normally we'd be teleported back into that tower to fight the boss, but because of the weird fast travel shenanigans we did, we get to stay out of bounds and then clip through the wall and go to this final meditation spot. And then once we quit out and reload, we'll be right outside the final boss arena.
Don't spam.
Yeah, don't spam, because that pop-up happens during loading screens.
Go back to the
so
beginning.
We don't want to go back to the beginning. We're going to proceed anyway. And we're going to activate this final cutscene and start a fight.
Best for my family.
And it's Bode from the beginning.
Surprise,
What happened?
surprise.
You'll have to play the game to understand why this happened, but
This is
kind of an obnoxious
super
fight.
aggressive.
Lots of QTEs and stuff, but time will be once we finish the boss and skip the final cutscenes, and it shows the title of the game. I'm going to try a few things to speed up each phase. We got a really weird bugged animation the other night when we were practicing. I don't think we'll be able to get it in the third phase again. But
Never seen it before. Thousands of hours, never seen it once. Did a little spin-a-rooney.
yeah, it was wild.
Never know.
All right. Double push. Interesting.
You know, see something new every day. Try and get a little stun lock going on here.
Yeah, we're able to use multiple heavy attacks. Oh, we got the QTE. That's all right. But you can actually do multiple heavy attacks to keep them stun locked on the ground. All right. Once we see the title of the game, that will be time. Okay. Time. Awesome. And you said we did reach the glitch incentive, right? So
Yes, we in fact did meet that glitch exhibition incentive. And before you head over to that, mind if I squeeze in a quick couple of family donations
Sure.
for you that have come in to show you some love?
of course.
We've got $50 from Alex and Dad saying Star Wars Jedi Survivor was one of our favorite games in 2023. Thank you for showing it off, zmoneytrain, and may the Force be with you always. And then we also have $75 from Helen and Aunt Marie saying Pnash and Z-Money, good luck on the run from Grandma, Aunt Marie, Mom, and Dad. Thank you so much for those generous donations. And everyone at home, make sure you're putting those donations towards incentives. We are over $6,000 raised out of the $50,000 necessary for Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Let's get that bonus game into the run. And those donations count as 2 for 1 because those also go to the milestone for Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus.
Awesome. All right, so we can just jump right in and load the file I have set up. If you thought those collision launch boosts were crazy, you've not seen anything yet. There's crazy glitches in unrestricted that use that pause buffer launch I was talking about at the beginning. So these climbing grates and the vines actually let you launch across the map. So if we use the slow-mo and
We gotta.
gotta time it just right, but I think we'll be able to get
Oh
it.
man, you guys aren't ready for this. This is super impressive. I did a run of this, but it's just so hard to record
I got in the tar.
on PC with spamming F11. Essentially, is what's going on during these pause buffer launches. That the OBS encoder will just crash. So I had to record it on my webcam. But yeah, we're lagging the game out. You know, same as standard pause buffers. But you're clipping pause buffering through the grabbing animation, and Cal gets pushed backwards. You'll see it because it's in slow motion. That right there. during the kickback, that's where the slow-mo kicks in to where we're able to, and each one of these is actually, the timing is actually different.
I don't know where I am.
Based on the vines. Yeah, you can end up in random places. Sometimes it looks like you just straight up teleported. Sometimes you actually can see Cal flying across the map.
Yeah, it's very reset heavy, and that's kind of why we decided to split it for the unrestricted category.
That looks pretty good. Yeah, there it
go.
is. You swing your lightsaber, you get a little bit extra distance, but oh, nice. Hole in one. All right, let's go. Yeah, it's the lineups are like, you know, we landed there, but you know, the lineups are very precise for where you want to land, the different timings, and that's all. The whole unrestricted run is basically that, along with another glitch called the pocket elevator, which is essentially, again, I don't know if you're able to even, can you do that on there? Show this
I'll
off?
just reload the file, and we can fast travel to another spot.
Yeah.
Because there's a few other glitches I wanted to show off. That's like the main glitch of unrestricted. So they beat Coruscant in like under 8 minutes versus it took us about 15 or so. But yeah, we can go.
It's only the Force.
Just a little other section. Another glitch is what we call pocket elevator. And that just involves using multiple pause buffers during an animation that will slowly oscillate Cal's hitbox up and down. And once we force push out of it, we'll get teleported up or down wherever we're at. We can go over to a spot here. Another thing you can do is with the dual stance, you can do this weird animation cancel that keeps your momentum if you time it just right. There we go.
Yeah, that's a really impressive one. The dual sabers, when you lightsaber throw, actually, the game actually thinks you have the single sabers. So one of the single saber skills in the skill tree is dash strike, and when you do the keybind for dash strike while your lightsaber is being thrown, he will do a dash strike, and then Z-Money is canceling the animation to, as the lightsaber is coming back, allows him to jump pretty far and get a little bit extra momentum. I think, yeah, we're doing the pocket elevator here. Z-Money is basically just counting the pause buffers here. As you can see like basically like a frame of when he just knows when to do the force push to cancel out on the, you know, wherever we are. Hopefully in the right spot.
Yeah.
But
You kind of saw how high it was, but
yeah. The unrestricted category uses this and combined with the launches on Coruscant to hit a trigger at the very end. You essentially go from the first grate on Coruscant all the way to the landing pad, and then you under the map, and then you have to use this pocket elevator glitch to get a mid-air loading trigger that you only see for one frame, and then grab a ledge, and then you're at the end of Coruscant. But yeah, this is another glitch called that we don't really use anymore, called the Super Neko jump, which is again pause buffer clipping while jumping on the Neko. Allows us to get more distance, and this is actually how we used to get into the broken crashed Mantis on top of the mountain.
yeah. We
Back
jump
in the
off
original-
the Neko with the Super Neko jump, and we jump off of it, and then PC, and we clip into the Mantis, and
All right.
it's super broken. But
This is the very end of the run and very reset heavy.
one thing we can do to finish it off is actually let the Mantis take off without us. So this was actually a glitch in the first game. We called it Big Iron because it stays on while it's on his hip, and it actually lets us try to interact with things on the ship, and then when we get off and turn the saber off, we'll interact with it from outside the ship.
As you can see, that's the airwalk we were referring to.
So we're going to choose a random planet, and the ship will take off and leave without us, and then we'll leave it there and do our outro.
All right. Let's pick where we go next.
Yeah, Fallen Order actually, the route has
relies
used
on this.
that glitch.
Yeah.
And actually lets us unlock the final planet that way. So we're just gonna let it take off without us and deload the planet around us, and that'll be the end of it.
It'll be a black screen soft lock, essentially. In this game, we haven't really found a use for it, but it's a very essential part of the Fallen Order speedrun currently in current route.
Goes into hyperspace and leaves us forever. Yep, there it goes.
And that's the end of that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, DQ, for having us. Just wanted to shout out our community. We have an awesome Survivor community and Star Wars speedrunning in general. Also, shout out to our international viewers. A couple of our community members, Lenino doing the French and Tomato doing the Japanese translation. So shout out to you guys. I'm sure there's plenty of others that didn't reach out to me, but any shout outs you got?
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much, GDQ, for having us. Shout out to all the generous donors who make all of this possible. And shout out to the speedrunning community, the runners, the glitch hunters, because we wouldn't be able to do any of this without everybody, all our combined efforts.
Thanks so much.
That's pretty much it. Thank you very much.